Welcome to stockmarketpunting.com. We just had the Beige book come out, and what we would like everyone to know is that economic activity has continued to increase on the balance since the previous survey. Among those districts reporting improvements in economic activity, a number of them noted that the increases were modest. And I already told people about SMFI on the economy and about stimuluses peaking out up at the highs, and you'd have to get these natural pullbacks. But if you were going to get a rally, what they would say is, hey, we were at 3%. Stimulus is coming up. If I grow at 1.5%, that's our analysis, is 1.5%, which is quite different than GDP 3.0% in the economic activity and growth and earnings and everything else that goes along with the wonderful Wall Street. But do you know it? No. All you know is what you hear on TV. Let us break it down. Manufacturing activity continued to expand in most districts. Okay? With some districts noticing soft or decreased overall loan demand. Okay? Credit standards remain tight in most reporting districts. As we said, it would. And we were very clear in that fact. Okay? One of the things that we're going to show you here is that on the report by the Federal Reserve District is that there are lots of notes and things that people never, everybody wants to be a stock market guru, but then guess what? They don't know this. Manufacturing, other business activity. Manufacturing activity in most districts continue to move up. Okay, now check this out. New York City, Cleveland, Kansas City, Chicago, Atlanta, and Richmond districts. Automobile manufacturing was a bright spot for the Cleveland, Chicago, and St. Louis. All right. Now, let's go a little bit more down into the report where consumer spending just so happens to be people like you and me. Reports on retail sales during the early summer months were generally positive. I don't believe they were that positive because they had decreased. Okay, although in most districts the increases were modest. You bet they were. Retail sales in New York, Philadelphia, Minneapolis, and Kansas City districts were higher than earlier sales. The Dallas reported solid gains. Must be some money coming in off them oil guys, huh? Several districts, the Kansas City districts were flat compared with the previous report. And the thing about it is the big ticket items were weak sellers. Okay? As we kind of go through the report, there is a lot to it. Here's your real estate and construction report. It's all right here. We're going to be putting this up on the stockmarketfunding.com homepage. I think that we'll develop a page specifically for the public where they can find the information quickly. And basically, banking and finance, that's the key here. Banking and finance reports on banking conditions were largely mixed across the districts. Banking activity in Richmond and loan demand in Kansas City increased modestly. Overall loan demand reported as soft or weak in Cleveland, Atlanta, and Dallas, while totaling outstanding loan volume decreased in recent months. That's that loan volume that it takes to kickstart the economy and get new jobs going. It's still weak. Banks are hoarding the money, as we told everybody. Loans outstanding, while New York, Atlanta, and San Francisco reported restrained or decreasing demand in this lending category. Demand for consumer loans were weak in Cleveland and eased in Philadelphia. Atlanta and St. Louis indicated a decline in consumer lending. Yeah, okay. I don't think the consumer has not wanting the money. The banks don't want to give it out. They hoarded the money. Say thank you, banking sector. Say thank you, banking sector. Thank you for taking my taxpayer dollars and making all that money off of me and then not lending it to our small business community. Go walk in Bank of America. Go walk in Wells Fargo. Say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Minneapolis, Kansas City, and Dallas districts. Crop conditions worsened slightly in recent weeks in the Chicago district. This is your agricultural area. We cover many areas. First District of Boston. Retail. First District retailers reported mixed sales results for May and June. Year over year, same store sales did what? Did what? Did what? Down close to 3% increase of about 3%. All right. Listen, if you want to learn more about it, you want manufacturing and related services. That's another thing you want to see. That consumer spending over there in those districts. Construction and manufacturing in those districts. Price and wages. Price and wages. Does anybody know anything about price and wages? Why don't you go to your little friendly employer that's been employing you and say, hey, look at why you've been taking down my wages. There's a lot to it in the different districts. Little movement was seen in inventories. All that, we heard a few reports that finished durable good inventories, which we had this morning, they were weak. Okay, they were weak. Retail in different districts around the country. We'll be doing a banking and finance. One thing that you want to be, employment and prices. Private payroll employment increased slightly through early July across the district. That was in that district. Now, but you want to know where that was coming from. You got natural resources and agriculture around there. Gulf of Mexico, crude inventories. We already know the story there. The thing about it, folks, is, look, it's fun to read these reports. Then it's one thing to actually know how they're going to affect the markets. And why the markets have tried to rally is because this report here is trying to say, well, it's not going to be as bad as we thought. Well, I'm saying that with higher taxes, wage and prices are going to have a problem. And this is what you live on. Wages and prices. Wage and retail price pressures remain low in June and July. The 11th district of Dallas is probably one of the better ones. It's fared better in the union. So you got all your different districts around the U.S. And you can get in here, come to stockmarketpunting.com right here. Let us show you where the weakness is. Sell short the weakness and buy the strength. And that's the way that it works right in here, understanding the various different districts around the country. Here's a 12th district, San Francisco. So as we go through them, we will figure out exactly from these ones. We keep an archive database, by the way. And once again, I just want you to know that welcome to stockmarketpunting.com, the FOMC Beige book.